Revenge of the Nerds has been reassessed in recent years and found to be problematic. There are loads of videos here on YouTube where virtue-signaling reviewers and commentators go to great lengths to explain just how wrong Revenge of the Nerds was. They insist a movie like this couldn't be made today because we finally figured out how to be respectful. Or something like that. I got bored partway through. I'm not going to mention any of these channels, of course. The only sensitive pussies I promote are literal. But you can find them if you're so inclined. According to these white knight reviewers of virtue, a story where people steal undergarments, take nude pictures of women without their permission, sell those same pictures, or even have sexual relations under false pretenses is, for lack of a better phrase, like totally sexist and way not cool, man. However, despite what these signalers of virtue would have you believe, the problematic aspects of Revenge of the Nerds can be understood by first understanding two things. Number one, Revenge of the Nerds is a revenge film. These once popular movies have all but disappeared from enlightened cinema, but there was a time when films like Death Wish and I Spit on Your Grave were fairly popular. I know it might sound strange to include Revenge of the Nerds alongside these grindhouse offerings, but it is nonetheless true. Revenge of the Nerds is a revenge film. If you doubt my claim, I kindly invite you to read the film's title. Revenge films all have the same basic structure. Someone or someones is wronged and they can't get justice through the traditional means, so they get their own justice. At their core, revenge films are about society failing to take care of vulnerable people. When these vulnerable people are harmed and there is no recourse for justice through established societal channels, someone, either the victims themselves or someone acting on their behalf, extracts retributive justice, revenge. And the revenge in these films is rarely calm and measured or unbrutal.
I say we blow the f***ers up.
Oh, we can't do that. But you're right. Their action tonight demands an immediate retaliation.
When the muggers try to get the best of Paul Kersey, he shoots them in the face. Did they deserve to be shot? No, probably not. They were doing wrong, yes, but did their crimes warrant a death sentence? No, probably not. Your morality might differ a bit from mine, but I hope we can all agree that sticking someone up for their pocket change does not deserve a lead-based headache. Did the grape soda enthusiast in I Spit on Your Grave deserve to be castrated, hanged, axed, or chopped up by a motorboat? Well, again, probably not. Granted, they did one of the worst things someone can do to another person. Grape soda is disgusting, but still, their punishments might have been a bit too extreme. Might. I'm actually not too sure about that one. Maybe because watching them die bloody is so much fun. Regardless, the punishments are extreme, but that's what happens when civilization fails vulnerable people. Those vulnerable people strike back, and their strikes are rarely civilized. And this holds true of Revenge of the Nerds. The jocks and the ladies of Delta Pi bullied, harassed, and abused the nerds. And to their credit, the nerds tried to balance the scales of justice through the usual societally acceptable methods, but when those methods failed, revenge happened. And as with other revenge films, it was not calm or measured or unbrutal. Did the Delta Pies deserve to have their privacy violated and their nude pictures made public? Well, no, probably not. I doubt many would agree that's an acceptable punishment for bullying a vulnerable person, but again, this is a revenge film, and revenge is rarely civilized. Paul Kersey shot at people, Lewis threw a shot in Betty. Are they so different, really? Number two, the other aspect that should be remembered when watching Revenge of the Nerds is it's not real. I'd wager that very few people would agree that vigilante justice is acceptable when it goes way too far. We don't want to live in cities where Paul Kerseys roam the streets, and we don't think it's okay for coffees to hunt down corrupt politicians and shoot them to death in their swimming pools. But it's so satisfying to watch when it's not real, when it's a movie. Revenge of the Nerds is a movie. In the real world, it would be very, very wrong to put on a Darth Vader costume and share grape soda with someone at Comic-Con. That would be horrific. But in a movie where that person is a bully and where that person is the girlfriend of the man who's the ringleader of a group of bullies who is behind all of your abuses, that's pretty satisfying. And if it turns out that that grape soda was so good that she leaves her boyfriend, well, that's some really satisfying grape soda right there. And yeah, all of this sounds horrible unless you remember that it's not real. If you're okay with Paul Kersey, I don't see why you wouldn't be okay with the nerds. Since when did we start to think that protagonists have to be models of proper human behavior? And I know that some of you are still thinking, oh, Rob, what about the racist stereotypes in Revenge of the Nerds? What about the homophobic portrayal in Revenge of the Nerds? What about the fat shaming? The fat shaming, Rob. What about the fat shaming? Well, that stuff's just funny.
You know karate? No. Good.
You've got a weird sense of humor.